Hi, and welcome to video number 2. We're going to talk about knowing the objections and the complaints beforehand. It's very important to know the objections, even though we're not really selling. We're doing a lot more teaching and this and that, but it is important to know the objections just in case somebody does present them to you so that you're aware of how to respond. I can say firsthand that when I began my offline marketing company, that when somebody did objections, I would take it personally, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to respond. But as time passed on, I realized that objections are actually a good thing because it gives you a chance to see what the client has been through. You get to see what their experience has been like, what kind of people have gone through their lives, provided services in the past, why the client is upset with these types of services, or it hasn't worked, this and that, and it gives you a chance to provide value. The whole goal here is to appear different than anybody else, and that's what we're going to talk about. It also gives you an opportunity to respond. So like I said, don't take it personal. Think of it like a student asking a question. Think of it like you're a teacher. If you think of it that way, it's a lot easier to respond to the objections. Now let me give you examples of popular objections. For example, I'm not interested. I don't have time. And then I'm not interested is usually when you're on the phone. So it's a little bit harder. If you're face-to-face, it's usually a little bit easier, but you can do email too, and I'll show you different ways to go about doing that. I don't have time, I've been scammed before, marketing doesn't work, I've tried it before, the price is too high, I get calls every week about ranking high on the internet. In fact, I'll tell you right now, most of the objections that I get from the people that are attempting, to market their products, and those are people that are easier to reach. They're usually saying, I've been scammed before, marketing doesn't work. I get calls about ranking, top 10 in Google every week, and that's true. A lot of people will be calling and selling SEO services, and I'll show you how to get around that. So your response is respond by empathizing with them, kind of relate to them and say, okay, yeah, I see where you're from, and let's say that they were scammed before. I had a client one time who said, I've been scammed before. This person charged me $2,500 just to look at my website, and then charged me, $10,000 to do the actual website, and later I found out the website was just a template, this and that. Now, obviously, it could be perceived value in this sense. Not always is it a person scammed. It could be perceived value. But in this case, I would just respond by saying, wow, that's crazy. I would have given the person a free analyzation of their website, and then I'd charge like $2,500 for their website and this and that. But and that kind of gives you an opportunity to empathize with them because they're already frustrated, that they had to possibly pay that much. And the fact that you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And this gives you an opportunity to even put your prices out there too, which, that to them, they're like, wow, okay. So in a way, you're not really selling. I mean, yeah, indirectly you are, but this gives you an opportunity to empathize with them, relate to them, understand them, and get in their shoes. And I'll show you how to close a deal, in just a minute. Respond by empathizing and then ask a question. And what I found was if they ask a question, and then I found asking a question back, if you can get the client to think, then that usually helps. And teach them if you have that chance. For example, most people will say, okay, I don't know social media. I've heard social media and I heard that Facebook is the place to go, but I don't know how to start and I don't really have a whole lot of time, blah, blah, blah. And they're making these excuses. And you just respond by saying, hey, first thing you need to do is you need to create a Facebook page. The second thing you need to do is this and that. Or you need to create a way to engage your viewers. Or let's say, for example, someone says, hey, I've been approached by so many companies that say that they'll rank my website top 10. Now, I'll tell you flat out that most companies, their problem is conversions, not necessarily traffic. And I found that answer to that question is like, hey, blah, blah, blah. So many companies tell me the top 10 ranking that they can get me there. So I'll respond by saying, well, even if you're at the top 10, doesn't mean that your traffic will convert. Your website, for example, you need to have a website. You need to have a good website. You need to have a website that actually answers the questions that people have, blah, blah, blah. Now, I've used this method many, many times in the past. And by, in a way, teaching them what they need to do, that actually opens their eyes. Because most people are just looking out to sell. They're like, they sell the dream, but they're not willing to provide value. So what I'm trying to get you to understand here is that if you can provide value, that is the most important thing. And that's probably the biggest thing to allow you to get one step closer to get your foot in the door. So if you can do that, then you're closer and closer to that, closing that deal. So figure out a way to teach if you can. And it's okay to show people what to do. Most people don't want to do it. You can tell people how to do it or what to do, not necessarily how to do it, but what to do. I was consulting a company recently who wanted to use video marketing, but they just didn't know how. So I said, hey, okay, this is the way you do it. First of all, you need to write down the top 10 questions that people ask you. Then you need to go on camera and then answer those top 10 questions. Then you need to post them on YouTube and make sure that, with video marketing, do certain things, do this and that. And of course, guess what? The client didn't really understand it all. They understood that there was value in video marketing, so they hired me to take that on. I took that on by showing them or teaching them what to do. And like I said, most clients will not know how to do it. They don't want to do it, and they want to do their job. That's all they want, and they want results. And people don't care about the latest, greatest backlinking method. They just want results. So start with the basics and then move up from that point. People will be shocked if you dig and research. And what I mean by digging is empathizing with them, asking them questions, understanding where they came from. And with that knowledge, you can better help them. You can provide value. And that's the reason why you should be in this business, is to help them. So here's the last response. Let's say somebody's like, I don't know. You can see that they're interested, but they're struggling to overcome those objections. So after you try to teach as much as possible, think about what kind of value that you can provide. Let's say you're focusing on a specific client that you see that is attempting in certain areas like video marketing or social media and this and that. So what I would recommend that you do is you create a video related to whatever service that you're providing. It doesn't have to be marketing. It could be ads, the creation of ads, graphics, logos, and this and that. Create a free video that adds value and that shows people what exactly they need to do to help them increase conversions or to help them drive more traffic to their website. If you can do that and point them there and say, hey, here's a free video, just watch it. I really want to help you, and watch this video and see how this can help your business and maybe use it. Or a free gift or something that relates to whatever they are attempting to do. For example, if you can figure out that they're attempting to do Facebook, they're attempting to do YouTube, they're attempting to use Twitter, but they're failing at it, then create a free video. Create a video that shows people not necessarily how to do it, but what to do. And what I found, here's a little sneaky trick, is I found that if you create a video, like a really short video, less than 5 minutes, you can use something like Jing, which is created by the same company that creates Camtasia. But if you create a free video and just target them and just talk directly to them and say, hey, you're looking at their website, doing a screen capture video and say, hey, I saw this and this. I just wanted to let you know that you should do this and this, and that'll help increase your conversions a little bit. Or you need to do this and this to optimize your website, and then you'll get better rankings on Google. Stuff like that, that's very customized and focused. I mean, it does take maybe 5-10 minutes of your time, but you're teaching, and people are going to see value in that, and they're going to see that you actually care about them to take your time to create that video for them, and they're going to want to hire you.